listening to the Metal Command Podcast.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Metal Command Podcast. Tony here with you, and today I am here to talk about the new Mystic Prophecy album entitled Hellriot. It comes out in 2 or 3 days now, and I'll be honest with you, this is album of the month for May of 2023 for the Metal Command show, and it's well-deserved. Really, really amazing record. And, you know, they are coming off of one of my favorite albums of the year in 2020, and that album, of course, was called Metal Division, which was an amazing record. But this is a band, to me, that has been so consistent over the last 10 to 15 years. You know, I remember getting their debut album entitled Vengeance, which I did like quite a bit. But, you know, just like debut albums you get from bands, you know, kind of just starting out, you know, at some point they are going to get better. In most cases, bands get better than what their debut album was. And not in all cases, but I'd say 95% of the time you're like, okay, it's good, but I think this band is going to get better. And they are definitely a band that has done that. So for those of you that have living under a rock and you haven't heard anything off of it or haven't heard the whole album, it's really, really simple to really basically give you a description of what it sounds like. If you like the last 3 albums, like Killhammer and, you know, Metal Division and War Brigade, you're going to like this album quite a bit. And the reason being is that, you know, when I say this is one of the most consistent bands out there, the new album Hellriot has everything these previous 3 did. The production sounds amazing. The songwriting is amazing. The band sounds great. And the music itself is, you know, it's the same kind of power metal, traditional metal that they've been playing for the entire time the band has been around. So it's very, very good stuff. It's definitely a great listen. And, you know, it's interesting because Mystic Prophecy really doesn't change their sound really that much. But for somehow, you know, like some bands, I'll give you an example. AC/DC, as much as I do like some of their albums, right? You know, it kind of, some of the albums get kind of old. You're like, okay, you know, I've heard this played a million times before. But Mystic Prophecy somehow is able to make a new album, not really change their sound that much, yet keep the albums interesting still. And they are a band that I definitely really like quite a bit. And the last 4 albums, including this new one, Hellriot, to me, not only are they the 4 best albums this band has ever put out, but, you know, it doesn't get much better than this when it comes to power metal. Now, I personally consider them a power metal band. Some people don't. Some people think they sound more traditional. You know, for all you crazy people that are obsessed with subgenres, I consider them a European power metal band, but not one that sounds like Halloween or Blind Guardian or like Gamma Ray, because there are a lot of those kind of bands, but they have more of an American sound to them. And, you know, another power metal band from Europe that I consider in that same kind of category where they're from Europe, but they don't really sound like they're from Europe, right? Is Brainstorm. So Mystic Prophecy is definitely a band like that. One of the things I like about them is they do not have like the traditional power metal vocalist, right? I mean, like, you know, soaring vocals, like a Michael Kiske sounding guy or a Timo Kodapelto sounding guy or, you know, a Kai Hansen sounding guy. You know, Artie Leopakis, he has a rougher voice, and I think that adds to the sound. And I think, you know, as a band, you know, it's interesting. As a band, all these guys are great, but Leopakis and his vocal style really fits this music and really helps set this band apart. And it's interesting because, you know, they just came off of Artie Leopakis. They just had the last Devil's Train album, which I thought was great. And his rougher vocal style with this kind of music and the stuff that this band plays, I think is absolutely amazing. So for those of you who have not heard these guys before, I definitely recommend you check them out. I'm going to have links to some of the songs. I'll have a link to a couple new songs off of their upcoming album, and maybe a link or two to some of the other songs off of the past albums they have put out. but definitely album of the month for May of 2023. I can't say this enough. I pre-ordered my copy of it. Not only that, but if you haven't pre-ordered if you're into vinyl, the vinyl they have for this thing, you know, the vinyl records, it just looks, the packaging just looks absolutely amazing. Now, for those of you that are going to accuse me, oh my God, are these guys paying you to do this? Absolutely not. I've never even interviewed these guys on my show, although maybe I should when this album comes out. But nevertheless, if you like power metal, if you like traditional metal, if you like it hard, heavy, in your face, and you want a badass sounding heavy metal band, and you've never heard these guys before, these guys are it. So check it out. The new album, Hellriot, by Mystic Prophecy, an absolute masterpiece, in my opinion, and one of many great records that they have put out. For those of you that do listen to the radio show, of course, you know that Metal Division was number 2 on my list of top albums in 2020. And I absolutely, in fact, I still go and listen to that album. So to get into the new album, Hellriot, I had to kind of pull myself away from Metal Division a little bit, but it's definitely a good record. So check it out, Mystic Prophecy, Hellriot. And if you do like what you hear from the links I put in the show notes, by all means, go and order or pre-order their upcoming album, and maybe even check out some of the past releases that they have put out. And of course, if you like the show and you like what you see and hear on the show, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video. So with that said, thanks for watching. Stay metal.